Hello, this is Genoa83, and this is round 4 of AOR this season. This time we're at Azerbaijan at the Baku City Circuit for qualifying here, and my practice for this race was pretty much non-existent. I'd done about 3 clean laps before the race, probably in total about an hour, but usually that was just crashing on the lap instead of actually completing it. So now I wasn't expecting much at all. Like, my race pace was awful. My best lapping quality was a 40 dead, and like a good driver in my tier could do low 38s or like high 37s, I think. So yeah, my first lap there, 2.5 seconds off the fastest. And then this is my second lap in ultras. It's better to qualify in supers, but I just thought I'd qualify in ultras anyway because I hadn't prepared, so I might as well go for it. And it's unlikely I've been in top 10 anyway. But I've run wide and validated my lap time through the castle section. And yeah, now my final lap, or the start of my final lap, just came out of the pits. And you can see on the mini-map my teammate Fred behind. We're going to give him a little bit of slipstream to help him out on his flying lap. And hopefully, well, he does do the same for me on my lap as well. So a little bit of a cheeky slipstream there for Fred. Hopefully that helps him out, but I'm not sure because he hadn't practiced much either, to be honest. So yeah, not much motivation from the Ferrari camp for this race. But this is my best lap now with 20 seconds left in the session. We're starting the lap, which wasn't my best lap in quali. Braking just after 150 meter board for turn 1, taking it pretty slowly. But yeah, I'm not confident at all at this track. And braking just at the gap in the wall, coming through this corner, a bit of oversteer and massive oversteer on exit, and you see Fred ahead is going to give me some slipstream, which is very kind of him. Hopefully we can have some good relations in the race as well and not make contact or anything. And now it gave me some time, but I lost loads of time on the entry to that straight by losing the back end everywhere. So yeah, 2 tenths down already, which is not good. But then I accidentally went to first gear there, which you don't want to do. And now I'm 3.5 tenths down. I am on super softs, which might be why, because super softs are the better race tyre. I found out about halfway through the session, and so I thought I should probably go out on them at the end. And now we're almost half a second down at the end of sector 1, and coming down towards the very tight castle section of the track now, which is absolutely terrible, to be honest. But it's alright. It's better on a wheel than it used to be on a pad, to be fair. And coming through it pretty slowly, but not hitting a wall, so it's a success. And now not running wide over the curb there very much. And we're still 2.5 tenths down, but we gained a little bit of time compared to sector 1. And now through the high speed section, which is actually alright until the corner end of the straight, which I had no idea where to brake the entire race. And yeah, a lot of people take a load more curb there. I just wasn't confident enough at this point. And coming down towards the last proper corner on the track, pretty nice through there. Could have taken a lot more speed, but we have actually gained some time as my exit on the first lap was pretty terrible. So we're a 10th up now coming down the back straight, or the main straight, sorry. These 2 corners are easy flat, especially in quali mode. And now ERS in overtake mode, that is the fastest straight line speed. DRS coming open, and we're a 10th and a little bit up. It's going to be a 40.5 it looks like. I'm currently 11th. It leaves me in 11th, which is 2.5 seconds off pole, which is not good. It's probably the furthest off pole I've been on season, but with no practice, it's not bad. And Dutchman on pole there, 4 thousandths ahead of Fenham, and then 6 tenths to the 4th suspect, and 7 tenths to George, and everyone else was a second off, and I'm 11th with Fred in 9th. And now coming onto the grid, we're going to put loads of fuel in, and starting the super softs, and then I hope we've gone to softs around lap 11, and now finishing the formation lap from 11th place. A few cars got reset to the grid because they crashed, which is a good omen for if they crash on the formation lap, what else going to happen in the race. But coming on towards the grid, everyone is back on the grid now, and we're going to get the 5 red lights coming on in just a second. You can see Blazer Guns ahead is on the ultras, and Pickless is on softs behind. I'm on supers, so a lot of mixed strategy here. The 5 red lights coming on now for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go. It's a very short hold, and I've got an alright start, but not great. And especially in second gear, I wasn't aggressive enough with the throttle, but now we're taking it easy into turn 1. And there goes a Ludimer out of nowhere, wipes out World Blazer Guns, which is not good for him. But Ludimer seems to completely misjudge his braking. We go try not to go the inside of Fred, but they've absolutely whacked from behind. And they've accidentally T-boned Fred out the race, which is yeah, not my intention. I don't know if you could tell from the footage, but I was completely whacked by Pickless from behind. I wasn't going at the inside of Fred, and then he missed his braking point, hit me, and unfortunately, and there goes Ludimer again with going down the escape road. Unfortunately, I hit Fred, which is not what I wanted to do. Obviously, we're teammates, so it's never nice to collide like that, but nothing I could do about that, really. I wasn't going up the inside, then Pickless hit me in the rear, so yeah, unfortunately, these things happen. But Fred did take that incident to the stewards, and Pickless got penalised for it. So yeah, it wasn't my fault, which is lucky for me. And Fred is already out of the race, you can see. And now a lot of chaos going on here. Weasel and Pickless are side by side. We don't want to be side by side here. And I'm just trying to keep it easy. You can see on the minimap, I've lost about 20 seconds already, and Weasel's in the wall there. It's like an absolute car park. It's just, I'm trying to keep my nose clean because I'm thinking if you finish, you're probably going to get like top 6 at this rate. and Weasel and Pickler side by side. I think both of them have got pretty bad damage. Sorry, Cabbage is also behind me, but we're not going to let him through there. Weasel goes straight into a barrier, and he's out of the race. Apologies for laughing. It's obviously not. It's just quite humorous. The cars just fly into the barrier like that, to be honest. And now Pickler's just ahead of me. We're into 9th because of people blowing up. And Pickler's now just ahead. I'm pretty sure he got wing damage from the collision at turn 2. So if he has, he might not be able to take this 2 corners flat, and I should have a good run, but I've not taken it flat because I missed the apex, and flag up ahead as well. So that's another, sorry, Cabbage is out behind me, so 11 cars left at the end of that one, out after 15 started. And now we're in the slipstream of Pickler. There's a car in the pits, that's Tom and Gymnast, and some other cars in the pits as well. At 7th, we're going to make a move on Pickler's here. We're going to back out of that because I was a little bit too far back, and he broke a lot later than me. I'm not confident on the brakes in turn 1 at all because the market boards are pretty difficult to see. And now down towards turn 2, same again, just breaking a bit early. Pickler's gone wide though, almost into the barrier. And we've still got the ERS modes to use, so into overtake, and we're alongside Pickler now. This should be a fairly straightforward move as he got a terrible exit, and now up the inside, down towards turn 3, the 90 degree left-hander, braking just below the 100 metre board and turning in nicely there. And I think he hit me again, which is, I don't really know what happened there, but I've made the move stick anyway. I'm up into 6th place, which is surprising after starting 11th, and now a few laps later on lap 3, and there's a yellow flag up ahead as someone has crashed in the castle section, which is very easy to do, and it's actually a Dutchman who is leading the race, and he qualified on pole by a long way, or by qualifying on pole quite easily, sorry, but not by a long way actually, and he's out of the race unfortunately. So much like in Australia, the fastest guy in the race is already out after a few laps, so yeah, that's not gone well for him. But you can see Ludimus right behind me now. He's caught up again after his exploring down the escape roads. That's a big save, and Ludimus going to get past pretty easily there. I didn't make it too hard after that massive oversteer moment I had, because obviously I'm pretty sure I'm the slowest person left in this race, so there's not much point fighting that much at this stage in the race. But now, just a few corners later, he is out as well. So another car gone, and I'm back up into 5th place, which is not where I expected to be. I think there's 9 drivers left. You can see the 4th suspect and Fenham are in the pits. I think Ethan, who was in my party, is currently leading. He told me that Fenham and the 4th suspect had contact, and they're not going to go to the end on those tyres. But now, quite a bit later, PT is in the pits as well, Ethan, and he's going to come out the pits pretty close to Fenham. You can see on the video out there. Coming out the pit lane, and he's on for an easy P2 or P1 at the minute, as I'm now 2nd, but having another pit stop to make. And Ben is also going to pit again, but you can see on the mini-map in the bottom left is the yellow flag, and that is because Ethan got absolutely destroyed by Fenham into turn 2. And yeah, Fenham got a penalty for that in the stewards as well, but Ethan lost heavy wing damage, and yeah, was pretty much no longer a threat in this race. So that's me up into a net P2 now, which is ridiculous when you think about it, because all I've done is just not crash and I'm in a net P2, whereas in China I was driving really well and it got me 3rd place. But this race is literally just survive and you'll do really well. So now I'm in my pit stop onto soft tyres pretty quick from the Ferrari boys, and just behind the 4th suspect and PT. PT isn't going to make the end with that wing, to be honest, so I'm not worried about him. And the 4th suspect also has another stop to make because he pitted very early. I don't think he's going to make it to the end on those tyres. So I'm in a net 2nd still with stops to make, but Fenham is still ahead of me as well. But there goes PT into the pits, and Pickless as well. Going to pit onto the softs. So both Williams pitting at the same time, which is a bit interesting. But I've run very wide there, almost into the barrier. So all the time, really, I was on edge and worried about crashing. And now you can see quite a bit later, there's only 7 cars left at this point. And Fenham is now right behind me, having stopped for a 2nd time. You can see his pace is much better than mine, unfortunately. And he's going to, after blowing up Ethan, he had to pit again for wing damage, I think. And he's going to easily go past me on the straight, looks like. I'm in overtake mode of rich mix, but not much else I can really do. And he's got the DRS, especially when it comes open. He'll get past me pretty easily, as it is pretty much a motorway, as Jensen Button once said. And he's going to just go around my outside. I'm going to brake where I'm comfortable braking. He can brake a lot later because he's actually practiced. And unfortunately, that's me down to 4th. But as I said, he got a penalty for the collision with Ethan, so 10 seconds time penalty he got. So if I can stay within 10 seconds, then that's another position gained. And you can see the 4th suspect was in the pits there, so up into a net 3rd again now. And Fenham is quite a bit up the road now. I'm not sure, and it's actually started raining as well, if you hadn't noticed, which is helpful, but it's not really time for inters, as it is the last lap, and I'm still in 3rd place. So this is a fight for the podium now, but we've gone very wide there, and having to save it a lot again out on that traction zone, and Pickless right behind as well. So after all of the collisions in the race, he's still right behind me. And this is now a fight for the podium. You heard Jeff say there, it's about 40 seconds to Ben, who's leading, who's not an issue all race. I think there was only me and Ben who hadn't had any damage at all throughout the race, but Fenham had damage and still beat me, and Pickless has damage, or he at least did at one point in the race, and is right behind me. So if he gets a good exit onto the main back straight, he's going to probably still beat me anyway. But as I said, he got penalised for hitting Fred into turn 2, so that's nothing to worry about. It looks like an easy podium at this point, as long as I don't mess it up. But what if we do into this corner? And that's very close to messing up there. Not quite sure I didn't get damage from that, to be honest. And yeah, obviously it hasn't rained yet this season in AOR, so I'm really inexperienced in the wet with the wheel. So you can see the amount of counter steering I'm having to do on the steering wheel is pretty shocking, to be honest. And hopefully it can get a bit smoother. But now through the fast 2 corners, making sure not to crash, and we're trying to not lose the back end. Hit the curve there, loads of counter steering on the wheel, and Pickless also didn't get a great exit. So Ben has won the race by an absolute mile. And Fenham is going to come home for an easy 2nd place, and I'm coming through for 3rd place, my 2nd podium in a row. But this one really doesn't mean that much to me because I've driven absolutely shocking. My pace was awful, but I've managed to get 3rd place somehow. Unfortunately, Fenham was quite a bit ahead of me, so he didn't drop behind with the 10 seconds he got off the stewards. But it's back-to-back podiums, I can't complain. Only 6 finishes, but yeah, this podium doesn't mean anywhere near as much to me as the China one did, because I've not deserved it really, and if people could actually drive and not crash, I would have come about 15th. So yeah, interesting race. I'll take the podium, move on. It's not going to be a season-defining podium, but yeah, it is what it is. I got 3rd place, Pickless in 4th, the 4th suspect in 5th, Summon Gymnast a lap down, and everyone else DNF'd. So yeah, that's it wasn't my best performance. It was probably my slowest performance and slowest pace of all season. And yeah, luckily I managed to get a podium out of it somehow. So that's going to be the end of the video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been J183, and I will see you next time.